Hey guys, this is Subconsci. It's gonna be my first commentary video for One Piece Treasure Cruise. Recently, I have been asked by many of you guys to do a JP Legend tier list or a ranking list. And I thought if I'm gonna do this, there's no better timing than now as we approach the end of 2019. So here you go. Oh, by the way, I'm obviously not an English native speaker, but I will try to articulate what I'm trying to say as clearly as possible. Hope you guys enjoy this. Prior to this video, I have pre-selected 32 contenders. As you can see on the left, these are the 32 chosen ones, 32 top tier legends in my opinion. And the goal of this video is to analyze each aspect of these legends and identify their true value. In other words, I don't evaluate a unit solely based on its firepower. I'm trying to gauge their overall value in terms of offense, defense, and utility. The way I rank each legend will of course be a little bit complicated, as I really think the true value of a unit could sometimes be very subtle in this game. So I wanted to use a much sophisticated method to somehow quantify it. In a moment, I will show you my ranking list and show you how I evaluate each one of them so that you can make your own ranking list by yourself. Obviously, this list is gonna be very subjective, so please don't hate me if your favorite legend doesn't end up being on the top of my list. In fact, if you make your own list, the odds of my list matching yours is smaller than pulling Kaido on a single pull. I will also include a timestamp in the comment section below for those who don't want to wait and get to know the ranking right away. But I highly recommend you to not skip this part. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So this is the template I used to quantify every attribute of these 32 legends. Basically, I broke their attribute down into 10 categories. I will walk you through them one by one in a minute. For demonstration purpose, let's take V16 Plus Katakuri for example. The first category is adaptability. This column describes how adaptable this legend is to current game contents or enemies' debuffs. In other words, how less the legend's abilities or potential will be affected or hindered by the game contents or enemies' debuffs. The less affected, the higher the grade it gets. For V16 Plus Katakuri, although his delay ability is incredibly awesome, however, please take a look at the video on the right. We sometimes will encounter enemies like this Brook from Raid Carrot. As you can see, even though Katakuri has already delayed Brook, but Brook's debuff's interruption has not been delayed at all. The next footage will show you similar scenario. As you can see in this video, Raid Carrot has been delayed by Katakuri already, but on the following turn, she completely erased every debuff on herself. Plus, she also cancelled Katakuri's beneficial orb effects. This mechanic will also make Katakuri's conditional delayed attack boost ineffective. For these reasons, I reduced his adaptability score down to 9.4. It is very important to point out that only on this column do we need to take all attributes into consideration. After this column, we want to avoid that. When we look at a certain category, we want to only focus on that specific attribute we are evaluating. You will see what I mean by that in a minute. Also, as Katakuri's adaptability has already been graded, from now on, we will assume all his abilities will be 100% effective. Let's move on to the next category, Captain Ability Offense. This column describes how good a legend's flat attack boost is. For full-time boosters, I usually grade it around 9.5. For dual units, I usually grade their attack boost based on the average or a number slightly lower than the average before and after their specials are used. Since Katakuri's attack boost is around 3.8 times, I gave him a 9.3 for this column. The next column is Captain Ability Defense. This column describes how well the Captain ability boosts the team defense. This includes HP boost, damage reduction, recovery boost, or healing effects. Personally, I prefer damage reduction over HP boost, so I grade 20% damage reduction legend as 9.7, and for 1.35 times HP boosters, I gave them around 9.5, and for 1.25 times HP boosters, I gave them around 9.4, so on and so forth. The next one is Captain Ability Utility. This column describes how good this legend's utility is as a captain. It explores if this captain has any built-in debuffs removal abilities. By the way, we do not count special skill utilities or switching effects here, as we will have respective columns for them later. Back to this column. This column also explores if this captain makes any additional orbs beneficial, if this legend reduces cooldown, or if this captain has any extra special effects like Katakuri's delayed ability. So for V16 plus Katakuri, because he makes strength, psi, tandem, and mid orb beneficial, plus his crazy delay ability, I gave him a very high 9.8. The next column is pretty straightforward. Team building. It evaluates how much freedom this legend allows you to build your team. For single color or single class captains, like V2 Dofi or V16 plus Akainu, I gave them 8 out of 10. For 2 colors or 2 types captains, I gave them 9 out of 10. And for V16 plus Katakuri, even though you can choose your crew members from up to 5 classes, however, in reality, we often want our crew to get his full 3.8 times attack boost. So to me, it's just slightly better than 2 types legend. So I gave him 9.3. Let's move on to next column, switching effect. This column describes how good this unit's switching effect is, offense-wise and defense-wise. Since V16 plus category doesn't have any, we will leave it blank here. The next 2 columns are special offense extended. These 2 columns describe how strong this unit's special increases the damage output for the term its special is used. Also, if applicable, how strong or how long the damage output is increased on the following turn or turns after that. Usually, for 2 times attack boosters or orb amplifiers, I grade them as 9.2. For 2.25 times boosters, I gave them 9.5. For 2.5 times boosters, I gave them 9.9. As for V16 plus category, I don't think his tap timing damage bonus on the first turn is really that impressive, so I gave him 8 out of 10. But for his second turn, delay conditional attack boost, I gave him 9.2. The next column is special utility. It evaluates how good it is, the utility this unit's skills provides. Does it remove any debuffs? Does it make any additional orbs beneficial? Does it manipulate the orbs? Does it provide any damage reduction or healing effects? Or does it create any extra effects? For V16 plus category, since he shuffles black orbs into matching orbs, plus he also makes all color orbs beneficial for 3 turns, I gave his special utility 6.5. The last column, as the name suggests, it describes how good this unit is when it is used as a crew member. Since if we use V16 Plus category as crew, we won't be able to get that delayed conditional attack boost. So I just gave him 8.8 out of 10. After we are done evaluating each attribute, we want to allocate what I call weighted multiplier to each category. It is used to emphasize what the most important factors are to you. Me personally, I care about adaptability and firepower a lot, so I put a maximum 5 to both categories. I don't care that much about defense, so I just put 1.3 on this column. I do care a lot about utilities, so I put a 4 on this column. As for team building, since I have pretty much every unit in this game, I just put 1.5 on this column. Switching, I put 1 on switching, as it would be fair for those units who don't have switching effects. And for special offense column, of course I will put a 5 here. And recently, we have so many high HP enemies that revive after they are defeated. So to me, it is priceless if a unit has extended offensive boost. Therefore, I put 2.5 on this column. I put a 2 on special utility column, 1.2 for sub column. Finally, we multiply each attribute by its respective weighted factor and add these numbers up, we will get the final weighted score. In Excel, we have a very convenient function called SumProduct. Since this is not an Excel tutorial video, I won't explain further. And on the column right next to it is the total score column. It means the maximum score any legend could have gained if it got 10 out of 10 on every column. So we simply add every weighted factor up and then multiply it by 10. In my case, the total score is 285. The last step is to divide the weighted score by the total score to get a final ratio. If we sort this ratio column, we will get our ranking list. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. I've done too much talking. In the actual ranking countdown section, I will simply show each legend's scorecard and only add extra description if there's any special attribute I want to talk about. Now sit back and enjoy the list.